So hello my fellow harmonica players. I wanted to share this new sound I found on harmonica. I'm using a Seydel LLF harmonica for this, but you can use a regular harmonica as well. I have a B flat here, so give it a listen. So what is it? I'm basically using the harmonica as a vocal instrument, like a didgeridoo. Didgeridoo players, in comparison to, for example, flute players, produce their sound not only by vibrating their lips, but also by singing into the instrument. You see, sound can be produced in many parts of our vocal tracts. I'll try to give you an example, starting from my lips going downwards. So it would be like... The interactions and resonations between the vocal entities and the cavities is complex, but you can get a feel for it if you try it. And also, not only sounds can be produced in many parts of our vocal tracts, but in our vocal cavities. A good example of this is vowels. When we begin to utter vowels, we change the shapes of our pharyngeal cavities and others as well. You might get the feeling for it if you try to utter a, e, a, u. I'll try to maintain a steady pitch and change those cavities. So a, e, o, u. And then another player entity comes into the scene, the harmonica. The harmonica has reeds, which also vibrate. The vibrations can be in sync, out of sync, or opposite the vibrations which are happening in our vocal tracts. I'll try to give you an example. I'll point my finger up and the reeds are in sync. But that's not it. The sine waves produced, which aren't real sine waves, but the sound produced by our vocal tracts and by the reeds, can be either in phase or out of phase. And this is where the bubbling happens, the sound. Give it a listen. So it's a good example of mutually destructive or constructive interferences. The sound disappears at one point when it is out of phase by 180 degrees, and it is amplified for a brief moment. I'm not perfect at holding that note, but for a brief moment you can hear the harmonica getting louder, being amplified by my vocal tract, because the sine wave by the reed and by my vocal tract is in sync. If you're interested more about how didgeridoos are played and how our vocal tract produces sounds, there will be links in the description. Another part of this sound which I'm showing is the ability to hold a note on the first octave. And the note on the first octave would sound, for example, like Do, Re, I'll leave a link in the description with a guy who teaches it. And here's the beautiful part, that the harmonica is the best tool to use if you want to learn how to hold a note, because you have real-time tactile feedback on whether or not you're on the right spot. It'll start to resonate with your voice somewhere. I don't know where. On this sideline, another tool to use is to turn up your speakers and turn on a tone generator and try to maintain that note which the tone generator is generating, and you'll be able to hear the same thing. Throat singing is another place where you can start if you want to learn more about it. As well, I gathered some information which is in the description below. Okay, and that's that. And if you're trying the sound, then be careful not to blow too hard. I already broke 3 reeds, so be warned. So I invite everybody to produce some new music with this sound, and with the LLF harmonic especially. All cuddly.